I'm just going to start 9:48, 47, 9:46, 9:45, 9:44. I'd mess up eventually. I can't hear you, Grim. Yeah, I can't hear you. There you go.
I didn't want to be talking accidentally.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good.
It's Tuesday somewhere.
It's Tuesday here, right?
Right. Taco Tuesday.
Tuesday the 20th.
Taco Tuesday, and I had hamburgers.
Oh.
Yeah.
I ended up having to have pizza because I'm in a hotel. That
doesn't have beef.
It had pepperoni on it. So did what I had to do. You know what? I'm gonna add some music here, background music. Let's go with some chill music. Here we go. Oh yeah. Hey, the Stream Elements bot's running paired. Oh, that's yours. It says paired on the comment. So that means anything that comes in from your channel will say paired, which means it's coming from you. That's cool. And if I reply, howdy. Okay, I'm replying. Oh, oops, something went wrong. Try loading the page. I guess that I can't reply to any comments on your page. It's like, so only my own. Only my own. Hello, Linda. We are just hanging out here for some minutes until people get here, and then we will start the stream right at the top of the hour in about 7 minutes. We're going to be talking about branding. About time Grim does more guest call-ins. Well, this is not he's not calling me in. I'm calling him in. Grim is actually, well, so we're taking Grim's stream time, but I'm doing the stream. I guess it's your stream. What is this? It's our stream. I don't know what's going on.
I mean, we're streaming in my schedule.
Right. On your channel too. And
on my channel.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think Linda's on no, she's on your channel. That's where yeah. But it's coming in on my channel. In my channel chat. That's cool.
Oh, it is?
Mm-hmm.
So the comments from my channel are coming in on your channel.
Yes.
That's cool. And you're looking at your channel, not at Restream, right?
Correct. I just pulled up my YouTube channel. Well, wait, no. Maybe. Whose channel is this? No, it's your channel. It is your channel. Okay. I popped out the chat. Let me go to my channel so I can pop out that chat. Hey,
Creative Decisions, and what is up, Chris? What is happening?
Creative Decisions may be on.
It's channel. Only Restream. So, I don't know. Whoa, what is that? Whoa. Hello.
What are you doing?
I just missed. Channel doesn't show both, I don't think. No, it doesn't. I could make it so that it does, I believe. I think we could use a chat relay, but that could get way out of hand very fast. So we just won't do that.
I wonder if I can. I bet.
What's up, Merle? You bet what?
I'm pulling up my Restream chat app, my local chat app, to see. No, but I see. But yeah, everybody's chat on my channel is coming in to the Restream. You just can't.
Yeah, it says paired to me, so I see it purple. All the comments coming in from yours are purple.
Yep. Yeah. Cool. So I can close those other chat ones.
Yeah. So Creative Decisions is on Grim's channel.
Ryan.
Okay. What is this, David? This is a stream. This is a live stream about branding. Grim and I are going to talk about channel branding for my channel because we're updating some things again. I'm getting rid of some old stuff and bringing in new stuff. Letting go of the old, bringing in the new.
I have questions.
Did you push that live?
What?
Did you push the comment? Can you push comments? Did you push a rep's comment?
I don't think so.
Because generally it doesn't go by itself. It just went out. So I mean, it's all right, but I don't know why it went out. I didn't push it. We got about
Michelle.
4 more minutes and we'll get started. I don't have a countdown timer on here, so we're just hanging out, playing some chill beats. Oh, what happened? You just
started dancing. I started dancing in the countdown, and that's,
yeah. We don't allow that here. We allow some grooving though. You can groove, just don't dance, man.
Maybe that's what I'll call it. That's what I was doing, grooving.
Grooving, yeah. Dancing is not professional.
Grooving.
Unless you are a professional dancer, which I know for a fact you are not. Like I know for
I was a model.
Yes, you were a model, but that is not a dancer. All right, 1 second. I gotta adjust this light on this side because see how dark this side of my face is.
You're all dark, dude.
Dude, shut the. Okay, I'll be right back.
Welcome. Got maybe about 3 minutes. Yeah, 3 minutes till we do the chip and squirrels. Yeah. Will it work? All right. Hopefully this doesn't blast your ears, but.
Where in the hell did Grim go? Did Grim leave? Did he get fed up already? Grim's like, I'm out of here. I don't care about this anymore. This is no good. Grim, I got a CAD C4D20. What's happening, John? Simon? Hopefully you're doing well. Waiting for Grim. Grim said something crapped the bed. So I don't know what that means. If it's just on his end, because I'm still here. Let me tell him. I am still there. Come on in when you get back. Come on in when you get back, baby. Hopefully everybody is having a great Tuesday, Taco Tuesday. Let me turn these tunes down because these tunes absolutely suck. And we'll just leave that on as background banter now. It is 6 o'clock, so let's go ahead and get started. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. My name is David Foster. And tonight, GrymSkull and I. Grim is the graphic designer. We call him the amazing pixel-pushing samurai of David Foster Media. David Foster Media is my company. And we do, I have several different YouTube channels that we manage. And over the past... probably 2 years, 3 years or so. I kind of went out on my own and started my own company. And I've gone through several different iterations of branding, several different iterations of a bunch of stuff. It has been kind of crazy at times. As you guys know, we've been kind of all over the place trying to figure things out. And that's pretty much all I was doing, is trying to figure everything out, where to go, what to do next. And like I said, we've gone through several different branding iterations over that time with I mean, I don't even know how many, like a lot. And so I've been talking to my good friend Benji Travis, and he's been consulting me for a while now. And so I had, it wasn't something that I had to do like immediately, because I have Redacted, and Redacted pays the bills and does that stuff. So I have that. And then I do have some other clients that we do work for. So financially, I have money coming in. So, you know, hey, Grim's typing. What are you typing, man? You think you're back? Yeah, you're back. So I hear you. But so what was I saying? So as far as like getting things on track, Benji has been talking to me about, like, because like my biggest question was, after I left the company that I was with, and most of you know who that is or what that is. When I left that company, I had been, you know, doing the same thing consistently for about 6 years. And so when I left the company, it was like, okay, so where do I want to go? Where do I want to take this channel? And I had to think about, like, you know, do I want to stick with live streaming solely like I was, or did I want to expand a little bit? How far out away from that did I want to expand? Because they always say, you know, go find a niche and get rich, right? You got niche down. Everybody says that. Niche down, find a niche, all this other stuff. And so I was trying to decide whether I went broad, whether I stayed focused, and I just could not come up with what to do. Now, I know how to build a channel. I've built several YouTube channels, and, you know, have been part of one that now has 1.5 million subscribers. And so I know how to do it, but it's just like, it's one of those things where I've just been like all over the place as far as where I wanted to go, where like, did I want to go back and do macro videos on, like, you know, setting up cameras again, installing capture cards, bringing cameras into a live stream, bringing cameras in for recorded video. Like I wanted to have this invisible fence, and beyond that, I did not go, right? But I could never figure out where I wanted to take that. And so this past week, I talked to Benji. We've been doing consulting and stuff. And he was like, dude, you know, you know how to do all this stuff. You're going to have to go back to come forward, you know, cause it's like, I already did all that back here, and I didn't want to have to do it all again. But the reality of the situation is, I just have to do it all again. I have to go back to the roots and start over, because when I left, I did lose a lot of credibility, because a lot of the credibility was tied to that company. My credibility was tied to that company. And not necessarily to me, because a lot of people knew me, but they knew me as that company. And so stepping away from that, you know, it's been a roller coaster, to say the least, trying to figure out where I even wanted to go. You know, I wanted to do commentary. I wanted to do this. I wanted to do that. I wanted to do politics. You know, I felt like, okay, I'm free now. Now I want to find what I want to do and just go in on it. So now, you know, I've just decided that when I first started this channel, it was called Geeks Life, and I reviewed tech, you know, phones and stuff like that. And I'm going to go back to that, but I'm not going to go as broad as I was. What I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on, and this is what Benji recommended as well, I'm going to focus on all of the tech and gear that goes in a studio. Okay, now, will there be times when I cover gear that's for vlogging and stuff as well? Yes, because some of these cameras, like the Sony ZV-1 that I'm using right now for this stream, sometimes I will go take that out and show you what it can do outside as well. And I am going to be doing mobile streaming. I just talked to LiveView today. They've shipped me a LiveView Solo Pro. And so I will be doing some mobile streaming as well, like I used to. So I will have to basically use these cameras outdoors as a vlogging camera, because an IRL stream is basically a live vlog, in my opinion, because you're out and about, you're walking around, and that stuff. So that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to go out that broad, but I'm not going to go back into phone reviews and stuff. unless it's a phone as it pertains to studio or content creation, right? Not just like Marquez Brownlee does phones. I don't want to do phones. I don't want to do tech specs. I like doing real world use of gear, tech gear, you know, things like that. Because I've been doing a lot of research lately, and what I found is there's not a lot of people searching for specifically things for live streaming. You know, you will have every once in a while, does this camera work for live streaming? Does this microphone work with OBS? That kind of thing. You'll get those searches, but the volume is very low. So where you see the volume higher is specific products. The Revelator dynamic microphone, the Sony ZV-1. How do I set that up? Like specifically searching for specific products. And so I'm going to be focused on that. And so with that, I'm going to be removing a lot of my branding elements, beginning with the original Live Streaming Pro. I don't want to be pigeonholed into live streaming. Now, live streaming, as always, will be a huge part of what I do because I love doing it. So that will still be a staple to this channel, but it's not going to be the primary focus. So yeah. So what Grym and I are going to talk about tonight is branding. Let's bring Grym on right now. Grym is here. Howdy, Grym. What's happening, man?
Howdy.
So tell everybody what it is you do for David Foster Media.
Branding. No.
Yeah.
I do branding. I do some video production, overall general graphics, developing the look and feel for all things David Foster Media.
Yes. And that sums it up pretty well. And yeah, so most of the time, not tonight. Now forgive tonight. We're using Restream because I'm in a hotel. I'm in Seattle. I'm doing a studio build. So I don't have my studio. I was supposed to still be home and I totally spaced out. I was thinking it was next week I had to leave. And then Benji sends me a text message. He's like, what time you checking into the hotel? And I was like, checking into the hotel. I was like, oh, shite. I'm getting ready to leave. So I had already scheduled this stream with Grym. We talked about doing it yesterday. And I was going to bring him all in. We were going to use Video Ninja. I was going to set up OBS to do an interview. And then I'm like, well, shit, I'll be doing it from the hotel. So here I am in the hotel. And I actually made a video of how I set all this up. So I recorded video of me setting this whole thing up, the hotel room. So watch for that video. So I wasn't expecting that. So we're using Restream. So you're really not seeing any of Grym's magic here at all. Now, we do have one special graphic I will bring up just so you can see. Grym made this specifically for the show, but we're not using it correctly. We're using it in Restream, but there you go. There's a little bit of the branding for you so you can kind of see where we're going. We're sticking with the same colors. I am going to change one font. And I think it looks like you already did. What is the font you put underneath it because I want to get rid of Iceland. That
is, I believe ODB Sans or something like that.
Okay, yeah. Perfect. I love that font. Yeah. So that will be, so yeah. So that's what we want to discuss. We're going to talk about some branding stuff. And you guys are just going to kind of listen while we talk about it. And then if you guys have any feedback or questions, pop them in the comments and put a Q in front of them. And we'll go back and read those in a bit. So, all right. So, let's talk, Grym.
All right. We got a bunch of new people in the chat. Joseph's here. We saw.
He's not new.
Alex. Everybody else. Hey.
What's happening?
What's happening?
I'm in Seattle doing a studio, not a build, an update. So, hey, everybody that's new. Okay. So first of all. I don't want colors changed. I do want one font changed. I love the colors. I love the pink and blue. You gonna make notes?
I probably should.
Yeah, maybe. But this is gonna be recorded, so you can watch it later.
Oh, well.
Was that an iPad?
Fuck. I mean, son of a...
David Foster Media Graphics and live stream quality is the best on YouTube and the live platform. Reason this guy is the... No, yeah. Okay, so like I was saying, graphic wise, I think pretty much everything's going to stay the same. I want to stay with the city look. I want to stay with the same colors. I do think I want to find, and I think what I actually want to do is create a custom city that has the colors in it.
Okay.
That's not, it has the same colors of the one we're using now, but like a little bit more pink and blue highlights.
We could do that.
And something that's like completely custom. So, maybe even teetering on 3D or something, like just something that you create from scratch with your magic abilities. And like I was saying, I like the gold bold font for the name. And then I like the Obadi Sans for the font. We were using a font called Iceland. I just have stopped liking that font because whenever I use it in design, it's hard to read.
And the reason I picked OBD Sans because it seemed like a kind of a universal font that would fit with everything. I liked Iceland, but to me it was almost pigeonholed to sci-fi, so you could only use it in certain areas. I think with OBD Sans you could use it as body copy if you needed to.
And I did before, and that's what I was thinking too, because when I tried using Iceland on, like the graphic thing that did I lose you again? No.
Did you?
The graphic thing that I did. No, you're here. I couldn't read it. Yeah. So, I just feel like OBD Sans is a lot cleaner. And that's why, like, when you guys are looking at doing branding and stuff, it is very important to like find fonts that go really well together. And generally I do that. But like when I was doing originally this design with the city and stuff, we were trying to go kind of cyberpunk. And for me, the Iceland had a real cyberpunk kind of feel to it. Like it was really like a very unique font. And I was like, I really like the uniqueness of that font. But as we did the cyberpunk thing, we kind of pulled back a little bit on that. Not so much like pulled back to where we weren't doing like using that style. We were just not using it fully like I thought we would. So we didn't go full cyberpunk, I guess is what I'm saying. We went city. We didn't go cyberpunk.
Well, it just kind of, a little cyberpunk, but just kind of almost Tronish a little bit, kind of a cross between.
And I still like that. I still want to stick with, like, when we're doing the city stuff, I still want to stick with kind of a Tron thing. But what I like about Tron is, and the difference for me with Cyberpunk is like a grungy, like it's more dirty, whereas Tron is clean.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. If you think of Cyberpunk, you think of like Blade Runner.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of tech, but it's kind of, dirty, grungy. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I feel like Tron is more like clean lines. Like I love clean lines. Like all the lines around the outfits and stuff. Like I love the idea of like, the city with like really clean, like basically LED lights everywhere. Yeah. But just really clean lines, and not muddy and dirty like Cyberpunk.
Right.
But again, I like these colors that we're using, but I think also like doing some, like I love how you outline these now with the pink and blue, like we're doing on the thumbnails. So like the graphics, like the lower thirds and stuff, like doing it like that, like throwing those lines in somewhere where it's like, thinking of the Tron clean lines.
And hopefully once we kind of get things kind of nailed down and you get your layouts kind of how you want, we can actually add some of the animation to it.
Yeah.
So that things kind of rotate. And because that's kind of been my thing since we started, is I wanted to bring a little bit more motion to everything. Including the background. Like the background could have a nice kind of scroll feel to it. Even if it's covered up, you could still see some motion going on.
When you created that, remember the time I did the audio podcast when I was injured on the couch and you did the audio with where I talked and the logo was bouncing in and out, and that background was scrolling the whole time, like on side to side. Remember that? I'd
have to go look at what I did.
Yeah. I loved that. So like I think something like that would look cool, but like maybe the lights move, not the city so much, but yeah, just some kind of motion in it. So like when you're initially thinking about like when a client like me comes to you and we're like, okay, What are the most important things to you in creating a brand that need to be, like if I come to you and I say, hey, I want to create this, what are the first things you ask a client for when doing branding?
Well, first we start with like the colors. What kind of colors do they want in their brand? Maybe they already have a color scheme in mind, or
generally, how many colors do you ask them for?
Well, I don't necessarily ask them for a number of colors, because I say what is the primary color, right?
Right.
Because once you take a primary color, then you look for complementary colors that go with it. So you think, okay, your logo, what color do you want it to be? What is the primary color of your logo? Once you do that, then you find all the complementary colors that go with it, and then kind of build off of that. And at first, I don't even a lot of times think of color off the bat. I always start thinking of what is your business about? What kind of styles do you like? As far as logos, do you want something clean? Do you want something that's has a little bit more a cartoony feel to it? I have them send me some examples of logos they like. Because one of the things I think about is I think of what their logo is going to look like without color. Because that may come up every once in a while. And once I get a good black and white looking base logo, then I start adding those colors to it. But I usually go with at least 3 main colors, but you could go with primary colors, which could be 1 or 2 colors. You go with secondary colors, which could be 2 or 3 colors, and then even tertiary colors, but they all have to complement each other.
And how do you decide that? I mean, I know that they have, Canva is really good, because if you put a color in Canva, you can say, hey, create a color palette that is off the, so when you're doing a color palette, like how do you decide, how do you know what complements another color?
Well, off the bat, I use a great tool called Adobe Color, which is one of Adobe. It used to be called Cooler, because I don't use color theory basically, but there's all kinds of books on it that you could, as a designer, I've got a couple on the shelves, but you go look, and because all of this stuff has already been figured out by people in the art world way back when, right? So you can find good color theory books that gives you a range of colors, and then we'll show you what those complementary colors are. But the tool I use is Adobe Color, and you can go in and take the hexadecimal or the Pantone color, or just you can pick a color from their color picker, and it will automatically give you complementary colors, analogous colors. Heck, why don't I just pull it up, right?
Well, and while you do that, I'm going to show. So I use Canva, and what you can do in Canva is, so I have David Foster Media. I have several different brands in here. So you can choose, if I come over here, here's all of our brands that we have in here. David Foster Media, all of this. And so this is my Pomodoro session, right? So for instance, if I wanted to get some brand colors, I can click plus here, and I can add whatever colors I want, but I can also add new, and it's going to, give me a bunch of these palettes that you can look at of colors that kind of match each other. And let's say I wanted blue to be my main color. So I'll type in blue. All right. And so now it's going to bring up all of these different palettes for blue. And so you just kind of, come through here and look and see if any of them kind of tickle your fancy. And once you find something that has some cool complementary colors, so I like this right here. I don't like this blue, but there was one up here that I actually liked. It was Mermaid Lagoon. This has some colors actually that I really like. So I'm going to look at this. I like these lighter blues and stuff. Let me get rid of this one. And so what I can do is, all right, so this is a light blue. I like this blue, but this blue I don't really like so much. So let me come in here and let me adjust it. And I can darken it, lighten it a little bit, and find it, like I like it a little bit more gray. So I like that. So, you know, you can kind of play around with the colors, move them around, you know, whatever you want. You know, add different colors, and that would be a really bad color to have with that set. So, you know what I mean? So just find the blues that you like. And also you can put in hex decimals if you find another website that you want to like copy. So if you go to, you know, for instance, David Foster Media, media.com, and you can get like a color picker, and I could, the heck is all that up there? I could grab the color from this pink and then go over here and add new and put in the hexadecimal. So let me grab, come to the other brands. I'm going to grab this hexadecimal right here. And that's this number here. That's called a hexadecimal. Now we'll go back to Pomodoro, add new, and let's put in that hexadecimal. Okay, so that didn't do anything. Pink. So then I can look for pinks. That's pretty much that pink right there. So that's how I do it. Because you know, Canva is pretty good about that stuff. So, all right, Grim, show us yours. Oh, was I small that whole time?
I don't know. I wasn't looking, but was he small? Was he? I mean, you pretty much just said that everything I was going to say when pulling up Adobe Color here, or color.adobe.com is the site that I use. But Canva has basically the same kind of tools that you can go in with a web color picker. Go to any site, or you know, on it, and use the color picker. Pick the hexadecimal color you like, and
why is your stuff is backwards all of a sudden? Like,
is it?
Yeah, you're completely flipped, mirrored. I don't know if that's just for me, or if that's like, did you bring in a browser through Canva, or are you going through vMix?
I'm going through vMix.
I mean Restream. In Restream, did you choose to mirror your camera when you brought in video?
I don't think so.
Okay, open it up and deselect mirror.
Yeah, I see. It is selected.
There you go.
There we go.
All right.
There.
There
Everybody
you go.
sees me right side right. All right. In fact, I have like some libraries saved here, but basically like the David Foster, those are the colors. None of these are really analogous or complementary, really. I mean, but they work well together.
Yeah. I really I like bold. I am a very bold person when it comes to design.
But here's a gold, kind of gold blue theme that I picked out of all these explore. You can go in and explore here and find all kinds of color schemes. But like David was saying, you can go and pick a color with your color picker. I'm going to pick this dark blue and go to create. And in the middle one, I'm going to paste that. Oh, it made it white.
That's white, man.
Yeah, it made it white. You got to pick a good color picker too that actually will pick colors and not non-colors. I'll try that again.
It did white again.
It still did white. You son of a...
It did black when you went across that one thing. I wonder if they... There's gray.
There's a color. We'll take that one. We'll take that one. And
Chris from Construction Cronies is saying that mood board is a very good start.
Yeah, mood boards are great, and there's a lot of software ones out there. I'm trying to think of the one I was using with Xanthi. In fact, I think I used it with you too. With initially, there you go. All right, so I pasted my color in, and I obviously automatically Adobe Color picked all the analogous colors, but you can always pick monochromatic. We keep talking about complementary, and these are the colors that Adobe Color says are complementary with this particular kind of grayish blue. You do splits, but it just has so many color combinations. But that's kind of what I do is I find that one color that the client really likes, and I go in and pick complementary, analogous, and monochromatic color palettes to then use throughout the artwork. That way everything kind of looks the same, matches really well.
So,
but yeah,
Golden Coin is asking if the branding has been working. Is it need to evolve and change? And the answer is no. You don't like the goal is to find a brand that works and stick with it. But then, let's say you started a brand like 5 years ago, and this is something that happens quite often. A new style might come out, like flat or something, or something that just everybody is into. There's a design element or design style that Google is into right now, which is like a flat design. It's like everything it has a certain look. And if that happens, like if the marketplace kind of changes and starts adopting that, it's fine to kind of look at your brand and just kind of refresh it, right? I think that like if you're constantly refreshing your brand, it can actually add some excitement for people. It also depends on what you're doing, because if you're somebody who like say for instance, David Foster Media was an app and we were doing brand refresh all the time and buttons were changing and stuff like that, like that you want to be a little bit more careful with if it's like something like that, because people get used and accustomed to seeing things a certain way. And if you're changing button styles and stuff like that, it can be jarring for them. But if your brand is working, I don't think there's any reason to change it. But like I said, you'll see like, KFC or McDonald's or something like that. Like every once in a while, they'll give it a more modern refresh to go with more materialistic design, like modern design. And I think that's fine. But yeah, I don't really feel like you have to constantly be changing branding. The reason I am is because I've changed branding so much is because I've been so confused as even what I was going to do. Like I had not made a decision and just now am starting to make the decision of where I actually wanted to go. Like I felt like I made it and then I didn't feel good about it. And then I felt like I made it and I didn't feel good about it. And then in working with Benji and stuff, we had just switched to the whole comic book theme. And then I'm like, well, I wanted to be a little bit more professional. So then we went back to the city theme. So it's like, I don't do as I say, not as I do. I hope nobody is making changes as often as I have the past 3 years. But it's just been, it's like I'm a kid that got out of I moved out of my parents' house, and now I'm just trying to figure out, like I'm on my walkabout, like what do I want to do? And that's kind of where I'm at and trying to get out of. So, yeah, go ahead, Grim.
So one of the things when I was asked if I wanted to try to take on this juggernaut of David Foster, was my first goal was I wanted to try to, and I still want to. I think we're kind of almost there. But I wanted to create a brand for Dave, because David was, he's been trying different things here and there. And I told him, I want to create a brand for you that is going to fit with anything you do. Remember that, David?
Yeah. Yep.
And that is my main goal as a graphic designer, is to try to help him create a brand that is, is not going to have to change, but every few years, or 5 years, 10 years. So that is my purpose in life right now, is to get David to the point where the only thing he's really going to change is maybe the layout of things.
Yeah.
The color's going to stay the same. The logo iconography is going to stay the same, but that no matter where you see it, that that's David Foster.
Yep.
Which is, I got him to at least go with the face, because everybody recognizes David Foster by one big thing in the middle of his face.
His nose.
Yeah. the glasses, the white
glasses.
frame glasses, right?
Well, and that's the thing. Like, the job of a brand designer or a brand manager is to keep things consistent, and that's hard to do when you've got an inconsistent, lead that keeps changing things. So, but we're getting there. So, NJ Pool Player, hey David, good job on your guest appearance on name of the YouTube show. I would assume that is Redacted. David Foster Media actually produces that show. So I wasn't just a guest. That's our show. Like, Clayton and Natalie are the hosts. I'm pretty much a host every day as well, a co-host. And Grim does the thumbnails. Philip, my brother, produces the show. Kevin.
I do the branding.
Yes, the branding. Not just the thumbnails, the branding. All of the graphics and everything you see on the whole show, Grim does that. So that is our show. So, isn't the branding here transgender? It seems the colors are. No, the transgender doesn't own a colors. Like, this is I love these colors. I love bright, bold colors, and I chose pink as the main color. And then Grim kind of picked the other colors from there. Because he wanted it more. Let me show you what Grim wanted. A little bit more subtle. So if you look at Overland Geeks, this was the palette that Grim initially wanted for David Foster Media. This muted palette. And we actually started to use it. And I was like, that's just not bold enough for me. So I was like, I think we can go bolder. I'm not sharing my screen. Hold on.
No, you're not.
Here we go. So this right here, this is these are the colors that Grim had wanted initially, these muted colors, and I like them. So these colors became Overland Geeks. So Overland Geeks uses these more muted colors, which I really like. It still has the colors that I like, and it makes sense on that brand. That brand, I feel like the muted colors just works, and so I like it. But then David Foster Media,
scroll back down to the logo, or up to the Overland Geeks logo, because that kind of dovetails into, because we created that, that's the second brand I created, and so it was basically coming up with that a logo that was going to look good in full color as well as the one colors that you see, right?
Yep.
And then we came up with a secondary smaller logo layout, the OG, the abbreviated logo, for that. But that's a good example of trying to come up with a logo and then using the colors within that logo and making sure everything looks good even in one color. So
yeah, because these are kind of like stamps. I mean, you could use these as, how sometimes on the bottom of your YouTube videos it calls for a little, watermark logo down there. You could put watermark. You could put the white watermark or pink or something, and it doesn't have to be the entire logo. And then, like I was saying, like back to David Foster Media, it's the same colors. It's the exact same colors. They're just more bold. So these are the bright versions of those same colors. So the branding in a way is still consistent. It's just one is bolder than the other. More bold, I should say.
More bolder.
Yeah. Later, Troy. Casey Neistat, David Foster. I mean, you'll always be David Foster. How would you feel if the whole world was watching you? I mean, that doesn't bother me. I used to. When I first went on Morning Invest, it did. It was like, oh my gosh, we got so many people watching. It was weird. But now I don't even... Like, if I go on somebody else's show, it used to be if I knew they had big numbers, it made me really nervous. But now, after being on Redacted for 3 years, now it doesn't even faze me. So that gets easier. So what do you think, like, as far as when you're creating a brand, what do you think the most important thing people can do is to not like overthink it? Yeah,
simpler is always better.
Well, what do you mean by simple? Because, like, you have people like you're gonna, if you're doing a logo and stuff like that. I mean, like, what do you mean by simple?
You want something that is not gonna have to change, like like I just said, like can last for a few years. You don't want to like try to go too trendy with what's going on right then and there, because design styles change. So you want to try to create something that's going to be simple and easy to maintain. In a nutshell, for me.
And do you generally, so if a client comes to you, so like anybody who's like thinking about creating their brand and redoing their branding and all that, when somebody comes to you, like, and they have no idea what they're doing. Okay. I come to you, I have no idea what I want from a logo. I have no idea what colors I want. How do you kind of help them make that decision?
I kind of, like I said, I kind of have them go and look at other brands, other logos, throw them a few like logo inspiration sites that they can look at and see what styles they like, see what kind of colors they like. And then you think of what field are they in? What is this, what type of business is it? Cause you may use an edgier style for, like, a band site or a band logo, whereas if it's a lawyer's office, you're going to go with kind of a more conservative kind of look for their logo. So there's just a lot of factors go into it, and once they kind of give me a little bit of an idea of the direction they want to go, I'll then kind of mock up a few general styles for them to look at. And I look at here's a good idea, good example of getting inspiration. Because when I was looking at inspiration for your logo, I always felt like you look like a hipster dude. I hope that doesn't offend you.
No, I don't get offended by anything.
And let's see, let me find. So I went and looked at some logo styles that I liked, because I wanted to be able to pull your glasses in with the beard. And that's kind of what I did right there. I looked at some barbershop logos, stuff like that.
Why is there a picture there of me with a doctor with the rubber gloves on behind me? What is going on there?
What is going on there?
And a woman cat dancing behind me?
Oh yeah, it's you said that was when you were in pain.
Uh-huh.
And you sent me that. I was like, let's just
yes,
nothing to see here.
I wasn't
nothing to see here. But yeah, so I kind of looked at some styles that I wanted to emulate for your logo, and we ended up. Here's a good one.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's what that was one of the ones I liked, but got shot down. And
yeah, so for me, it was the symmetry. I didn't like the symmetry of it.
Well, and that was one of the things, though. It's like at one point we were.
Yeah, that I like.
Here's where we went. We went because this is the one I really liked. And then you're like, well, can we show the whole face? And I was like, let's try that. And then boom.
Yep.
That's
and there's the Iceland font on the bottom.
Yep.
Anthony, so when creating a new channel from scratch, what's a good order to do things such as channel name, colors, logo, etc.? I think like the thing is you have to kind of have a bit of an idea of where your channel's going to go before you make any of those decisions. Like, you have to have kind of an idea of like, so, and Benji told me this yesterday and it really helped me. He's like, you have to know where you want to end up. You have to know the end goal first. And that's the thing. Like, that's why I've been so all over the place because I didn't have that. I did not have this in yet, because I was like, do I want it here? Do I want it here? Do I want it here? So I'm like way back here trying to decide what to do without any idea of where I wanted to go. I thought that I wanted to do this. I thought that I wanted to do that. And then I would do a little research and then I would do a little bit of it. And I'm like, no, I'm not feeling it. So it's kind of like this. So you have to figure that out first. But that doesn't mean that you just can't start making content around and doing some. And the thing Benji said about YouTube is YouTube does not care. Your audience that you're building initially aren't going to care if you're kind of all over the place, because you're not building a community around a specific thing yet, and it will take you a long time before you do. And what he said happens is you kind of do these videos because YouTube is going to pick them up because you're doing search related videos. In order to do anything on YouTube, if you want it to grow, you have to be making videos for search initially. You cannot be doing generic content. You cannot be doing generic streaming, live streaming a game, for instance, that you're just using the title of the game and you're not putting any titles into it, not being purposeful with that in order to grow the channel. So YouTube doesn't care about, like anything other than the title, how long people stay on the video. Like if somebody watches that video and they stay for an extended period of time and they know that your title matches the content because people stay, then they'll be like, okay, that person stayed for a good chunk of that video. Let's show it to somebody else. Let's show it to somebody else. Let's show it to somebody else. If you make a video that the title doesn't line up with the content, just think of like old school SEO. It's the same thing. If somebody did a Google search and they saw your link on your blog for a specific thing and they click on it and they get there and then they're like, oh, this isn't what that is, and they immediately leave, Google de-ranks you the more that happens. If somebody clicks on that, this is called relevancy. If somebody clicks on it and they stay for an extended period of time, then Google's like, okay, that was a relevant click. That click led to the click from the title led to an article that was obviously relevant because the person didn't just leave right away. So it's the same thing with video. If your title, your thumbnail, and your description are all written the right way, then somebody clicks on that video to watch it and they stay there for an extended period of time. YouTube sees that as a value to their viewer. They know that all of a sudden that is a relevant video for that search term, for that thumbnail and all that. So they'll keep showing it to more and more and more people. That's the beauty of YouTube. That's the algorithm. So if you're not doing that, if you're not being purposeful with your titles and all that, then it's not going to work. So that's why when you're getting you ready to start your channel and do all that stuff, you want to think about what is it that what kind of information do you have to help people solve problems? Because that's what you want to be at first. You have to be a problem solver. You can't do it with generic content. You really can't. Now, there are some people that get lucky. There are some outliers for sure, but that's not going to happen for the most of us. So we have to be very strategic and think about problem solution content. So you've got a solution to someone's problem. Now, how do I help that person with that problem find me so I can solve it? That's what you have to think about. So think about that first. And then after that is when you'll start like knowing where your branding and stuff is going to go, and not worry about that first.
Yeah. Once you figure out the content you want to do, the rest is, I don't want to say easy, but should start kind of clicking, right, and falling in place. Like, because once you know the content you're going to do, you can think of the buzzwords, those keywords that you may want to use as your channel name, like me, I'm GrymSkull, but I do graphic design and all that stuff. And so, like David says, I need to be titling my videos and stuff better. That way, in fact, I need to stop live streaming as much. I need to do the videos.
And not only your titles, because even if your titles were great and you get in there and there's like 45 minutes of not even talking about what it's in it, people are going to leave. So you have to think of relevance. And that's something that I do too with the 10-minute countdown timer and all that stuff. And so my primary focus is going to be recorded video with live streaming as a nurture for the community that you build around the videos. That's kind of how you want to use live streaming. And Anthony says it's going to be AI is a related goal. My in general niche, I now have a bit of an insider level access to OpenAI. And that's the thing, like you could really be taking advantage of that right now and not worry about branding. Don't worry about any of that stuff. Just be Anthony, go out and start talking about that stuff and then let the brand form around that, because you maybe people won't like your take on it. And they'll give you some feedback and then you'll start to kind of like it's like this, you do this And what you're trying to do is you're trying to get out there, do some content, see how it's going, and your goal is to try to just keep doing this, keep doing this, keep doing this. And as you get more people, it's going to guide you, and you're going to find what sticks. It's just like me. When I first started doing content review, like tech reviews, how-tos, and things like that, the number one question we got every single time we streamed was how do we have such great quality? Because we were live streaming every week. We were doing tech reviews and stuff the rest of the week, doing regular videos. And that community just kept asking, wow, your quality looks so good on your streams. And so I'm like, we need to do a company around this, because it's like the number one question that we get. Why aren't we doing more? So we did. And what started that whole company was doing that. And so that's what happens is you don't sometimes even know where you're going to go until you do a bunch of things, and your audience will tell you where you should eventually go. If you listen.
Here's the beauty of it though, right? In this day and age with content creation, you can try different things in your branding. David preaches consistency a lot. I preach consistency. You do want to eventually get a consistent look and feel for all your graphics and a logo and stuff. But we're at a time right now where it's all digital. We're in a digital realm. So, I mean, every other day, David wants to change something, and we can do that because it's not going to cost us hundreds of dollars to have something printed up, that we use for, a week.
And look at Marquez Brownlee he's a great example. He has a logo and he'll use his logo, but his intro is different every time. His thumbnails are different every time because they follow the content, not the brand. I mean, they follow the brand for sure, the colors and everything, but he uses the content for the intro. He uses the content. Like, how can my intro best highlight this content? And sure, like I said, his logo's in there, but like he doesn't even throw lower thirds of who he is. He doesn't really ask for subscriptions or anything because he knows that people are there to get information. So he just gets right into it. And he changes that stuff every time.
How long has he been doing this though? How long has he been doing this?
Like 10 years, 12 years, something like that.
So
yeah.
So it'll take some of us a little bit to get to that level. Right. But
my point with that is you're like, YouTube does not, like, you'll have one person watch a video about how to do this. Like, let's say we'll use Anthony as an example. They're looking to learn how to do AI. Okay. You'll get like 20 people that have never seen you before that watch that. Then you do another video with completely different branding. You'll have maybe 3 or 4 of those people watch again, and 20 new people that have no idea what your branding is. So it really, when you're doing it for search at the beginning, it doesn't matter because you're going to have new people finding it every time. They have no idea what your branding is. Sure, it's good for you. And a lot of times we use that to stop us from making content because, like, I got to have all this stuff in place before I get started. But I say, no, you don't have to have all that in place. Maybe if you want to, go to Fiverr, make a really quick logo or something. If you absolutely have to have something on there. But the key is to just get going and let that flesh itself out as you go. Because if let's say you start doing the AI stuff and you really don't like it, it's a little bit too whatever, and you've already built a logo around AI, and it's like, well, now you're already going to be changing your branding anyway. So it's like the best time the best thing to do is just get out there, start creating content, and let that come. Any feedback on that, Graham?
I was going to say, disagree. That's kind of my point before. It's like, we're at a time where you just get out there, do it. You can create a logo or get a little bit of a branding setup, but it doesn't have to stay that way as you evolve because, in this digital world with CANVA, programs like CANVA and everything else, you can change it as needed.
Nico, good morning. How's it going? And Charlie, you mean you brand people like a bull? That's so cruel. No, we do not brand people like a bull. Although,
it still hurts though, David.
Yeah. So Anthony, just hit record now, like Sean Cannell says. You gotta just press record, and don't worry too much about branding. Target search, got it. Yes, and that's like It's hard to do. It really is, because a lot of people get so stuck on branding that they can't do anything until they feel like that is perfect. And that is the worst loop that you can get in, because it's going to keep you from getting out there. And if the longer you're not out there, the further away your goals are. And so that's why I know that I've been all over the place, but I've still been creating, even though I have not been sure at all where I was going to end up, where my end goal was. I'm like, I'm still going to do something. Even if I have to change it every week, I'm still going to be doing something. I was still streaming something. I was still posting something. It might have been on a different channel or whatever, but I was doing something while I figured it out. I wasn't just going to sit here and do nothing. Because that's the worst place you can be, is sitting there doing nothing. Because that's for sure not going to help you get anywhere.
And even if you don't settle on your final branding, the one thing is to definitely try to make all your layouts and overlays look the same. Mm-hmm. Even on those, even if it's not the final branding, don't use an overlay with a certain background on one scene and then use something totally different on another scene. Right. At least try to come up with a consistent color scheme, a consistent background. Even if you don't want to use a logo or whatever, just kind of, at least initially try to come up with some consistent look and feel.
Well, and you guys, like, just so you guys know, like, when I first got started with all this stuff, I was doing my own graphics, my own thumbs. I did my own websites. I did all the graphics art myself. When the first iteration of the previous company I was with, I did everything. And then we got a graphic designer, so, and it was growing perfectly fine with my half-ass graphics, so it's like, don't worry about that so much. But like Grym said, even if you're doing some kind of shitty graphics, make them consistently shitty, like, same colors, stuff like that, and same kind of feel. Now, that's something that I wanted to talk about as well. As I'm going to start changing up the thumbnails a little bit to where, we're going to have, I still want the pink and blue border around it, but I'm going to start using more photos and less text if we can. Because I really want to start thinking visually with thumbnails. Like, for instance, I did this little quasi studio in the hotel room. After we're done, I'm going to shut off these side lights and everything, and I'm going to sit this up with my camera and get a really nice picture of these LED lights. And I even set them up like an X like this, because I'm going to have these going out, and it's going to be centered in there, and I'm just going to put the text hotel, or something like that. And people are going to know that this is a studio for that I did in a hotel. So I want to make the thumbnails more visual. And a lot of people will tell you this. A lot of very successful YouTubers will say they create the thumbnail before they even record the content. That blows my mind, because like Mr. Beast, he makes his content based off of the thumbnail. So it's like, I don't think that way. I generally take it after, but I want to start thinking more like that. Sean Cannell is another person that thinks that way. They think about the thumbnail and all that before they even start getting into the content. So I just want to be more purposeful with the thumbnails, pictures, like the pictures that I'm taking, and actually take pictures instead of always just using, my face pointing in different directions. I still think faces are important, and I still think they'll be there, but there's sometimes where a picture of this will say way more than a face or whatever, or text. So, nice studio in the hotel. Thank you.
So my questions, we're keeping the color scheme. We're going to kind of stick with kind of a city type background, but kind of go more custom. Our face is going to stay the same, right? Our iconic logo.
Well, I've been playing with that, because I'm really liking the AI stuff right now. And I was thinking, like, yes, as a logo that will stay, but I don't want to use the logo all the time, like in the video and stuff, like for an intro or whatever. Yes, but I want to, like, on thumbs and stuff, I think I want to play with using AI images, and just having fun with it. You know what I mean? Like, if I am doing something where it's like I'm explaining something then like, I don't know if you saw all of them I uploaded to Canva. But this AI thing made some really cool images that would look cool on thumbnails because they're nice and colorful and vivid. And just playing with that a little bit and just seeing how that works, just, but not like always throwing the regular logo on there because they're still me. They're just AI versions of me. And then maybe like, okay, if I have, like, for instance, let me show you this one because it's funny. I'm doing the LiveView solo. LiveView is sending me one of the solos, and I made this AI image, and I thought it was funny how it turned out because, let me go full screen on this. It made it look like I got a camera on my shoulder, and I don't even know what that is. I don't know where it came from. Like, I don't have any pictures that had that, that I was holding anything on my shoulder. So I just thought that was a really cool thing that looks like I'm holding a camera. So I put the LiveView logo in here. I don't know what the text is going to say yet. Probably just IRL or something for people that know what that is. And that's going to be the thumbnail for when I cover the LiveView solo. Even the colors, like I didn't do anything to the colors of that. That is exactly how it was generated for this thumbnail. So I think that looks pretty damn cool personally. The eyes are a little messed up, but I don't care about that kind of stuff. What do you think, Grim? You think that looks cool?
Yeah, I like it. But when I was talking about the logo, I meant like the overall branding logo.
Yeah, no, I know. And that's staying.
Yeah.
Yeah. The overall Foster Face logo, that's staying. But I only want to use it on like right on the website and things where we need the logo.
Yeah.
Other than that, I want to play with other things and just make it fun.
Right. I'm down.
Chris I think Sean and Benji's book YouTube Secrets was the first one I read when I started. Yeah, they just updated it too. They got version 2 is either out or coming out. That's got a lot of updates in it. So I'm looking forward to getting one of those. It is really hard to come up with good graphics. I'm working on them for a year now. Yeah, and the thing is, like, I'm not a graphic designer, but like tools like Canva and stuff have like completely made me a quasi designer because like it just like for instance, I can go over here to Canva. Let me show you this. For those of you that are, looking to make graphics and you have no idea what you're doing, Canva, if I come over here and I want to create a YouTube thumbnail, I can come to the home screen here. I can create a design, and let's say I'm going to do, here's a YouTube thumbnail. Create, that says create blank. I'm going to create blank thing here and YouTube thumbnail. So I just click thumbnail, and then over here on the left-hand side, they've got a whole bunch of samples of thumbnails that you can use. And these are all copyright free. You do not have to have any design skills anymore because all you'd have to do is come over here, grab one of these. Like this one's pretty cool. So check this out. There's a picture of her in there, right? So let's say I wanted to replace that with me. I got my uploads over here, all my AI images. Let's put me in here. Oops. As like a priest. No, this one's a good one. We'll put this one in there. So I drop that in there. What's going on? For some reason, there it goes. And we'll say best. Oh, Grammarly. Best shaman advice. So there you go. So I mean, look. I mean, basically, I just created a thumbnail. I could use this just as it is. Let's put a better picture in there. These AI graphics are so freaking cool. So, best camera. If I was going to do that, right? Easy. I'm done. You can just do that. And then I can just go back up to, design, and just keep scrolling through until I find one that looks good. Here's another one. That's pretty cool. And you're just bringing in a bunch of graphics. They've given you some really clean stuff to start off with. So even if you're not a designer, you can go into Canva and do that.
a good place to get inspiration too.
Yeah. Yeah. Nico, what AI app are you using? I use several different ones. The photos that you just saw in Canva, those came from Lenza is an app, and then the other ones that I have been putting on social, those are coming from an app called Photoleap. Question: Go ahead.
Are those free apps, or are there cost involved with those?
There's cost involved. So it's like $7 for 300 images. And it just picks a bunch of different styles for you. So what will be the focus going forward for the brand? So this channel is going to go back to tech reviews and how-tos. So I'm going to be doing, well, just basically what I did on Geeks Life, just not as broad, because I'm not going to be doing phone reviews of specs and stuff, but I will be doing like phone as a content creating tool. If it has anything to do with content creation and studios, that's what I'm going to do. So it's basically how things work for content creation, and that includes, live streaming and stuff, but you won't get specs. I mean, of course, if I'm covering a camera, I will be talking about the things that matter spec wise for what you're doing. If I'm doing IRL, like in-body stabilization, frames per second, like that stuff is going to matter for those scenarios. So I will cover that, but I'm not going to be saying, oh, it has an ISO of 32,000. You know what I mean? I'm not going to get into the specs of phones and all that. That's done elsewhere. I will just show you real world use, how to use it as a content creation tool, period. So gotta go, guys. Goodbye, Michelle.
See you, Michelle.
Merry Christmas. And Troy likes that, so good. So any other advice, Grim, as we close this out for people that are just getting started with their branding? Because a lot of people, they get hung up on the branding. They want to start a new channel. They want to start, creating videos. And they get in this loop of them like not moving forward because they're stuck on the branding.
Yeah, I mean, if you need to go find something on, well, we have several ones on the Creator Toolkit that are for free.
Mm-hmm.
You can get one of those and then just start creating your content. Don't worry too much about the logo, 'cause especially if you're just starting out, just find something simple to use, start creating that content.
And you don't even have, like, if you're going to do it as yourself, you could just put your own picture on there as your profile image. You don't even need a logo. Mm-hmm. Like, just put your picture on there, just put your name on there and start creating. Don't try to think of a brand name or anything. Just start doing it under your name, because you can change that later.
Yeah.
Because again, like Benji said, YouTube does not care. You're doing problem solution videos at first. So you've got the solution. How do you find people with the problem that you can solve? Period. Continue.
That's basically it. Like you always say, just start creating those videos, start creating that content. Just start simple with the branding. You can pick a color scheme, you can pick, a few images you want to use for backgrounds, and just stay consistent with it while you're creating your content. But other than that, don't get stuck waiting till everything is perfect, because most of the time, like I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do with my branding. So,
well, and I have several stories like this, but I'm just going to tell one. And I know many people that have suffered from this. There was a guy who constantly had to get the right microphone, had to get the right camera. Then he had to build his studio. Then he had to, panel the studio. Then he had to get like all the stuff he wanted in the background. And for 3 years, over 3 years, this person used all of this stuff to not make an ounce of content. 3 years. And by the time he got done with all that stuff, he was so frustrated that he didn't do it anyway, because he was such a perfectionist that he didn't think he could put his videos out there unless they looked absolutely perfect. And I want you guys to go back. Now that YouTube removed this feature, I don't know why it's so stupid, because you used to be able to go to a channel and sort their videos by oldest to newest instead of newest to oldest. And you could go back and watch Marquez Brownlee's first videos, Peter McKinnon's first videos, iJustine's first videos, Linus Tech Tips' first videos. Go back and watch their first videos, and you guys will be like, holy cow, those are horrible. but they did not care. They just started making videos. Let's use Marquez Brownlee as an example. He was anything he had in it. He didn't have money to go out and buy stuff, so he was reviewing stuff he had at his house. He was reviewing the little remote that came with the Microsoft laptop back in the day to control your media. He had that at home, so he did a review on that. He did a review on his laptop. He showed you how to set things up on a laptop because he just knew that it was what he wanted to do. He didn't have excuses. He didn't find ways to get out of it. He didn't sit there and try to build a perfect studio. He just grabbed his freaking camera and he did it. He just pressed record.
Each bit of content you create, no matter how bad you think it is, it's a learning experience, and the next one's going to be that much better. And so just, it all the greatest gear in the world is not going to help, create content if you don't just create it, right?
Right. And also it's like, and I see Boss saying here, either things will go my way and I'll be super famous, or it'll go bad for me, or nothing will happen and I won't get noticed. You can't do this thinking you're going to be famous. You cannot do this and care about that. What you want to do this for is to create a solution or to create an environment where people can escape or people can get some kind of experience. You cannot think about fame, because if you're doing it for fame, you're going to be hugely disappointed and people are going to see right through that. If you don't care about your audience and doing this because you truly care and want to help people with the problems that you plan to solve, whether that, even if that is just entertaining them, you have to care about your audience. There was a creator recently that went off on one of his community members because somebody in her family had died, and she said that in chat, and he was like, I can't believe you're bringing the chat down saying that, and blah blah blah, and he just went off because he doesn't really care about his audience. He cares about himself. He cares about his success, and you can't. You have to care about the people that are showing up for you. And that's why my whole thing about commit, create, connect, when you commit to yourself to creating content, and then you start creating content consistently, and you're trying so hard to get to that connection. And that's a connection with your audience. And that connection can be so real and very fulfilling if you treat it like an actual connection and not just look at them as dollar signs. Because there are people out there that see those people just as dollar signs. And if that's all you do, you will never be successful. Joseph, at what point do you think it's a good time to outsource thumbnails, etc., like hiring a superstar like Grym? I mean, as soon as you can. The thing is, Joseph, you have to look at what is taking time out of your day, and also, are your thumbnails really showing off what you're doing? Are they really putting you in the best light? Because you're not a designer. And the thing is, a lot of people like me, when I first got started, you tried to do all those things because you don't have the money at first. But then second, you need to let somebody that knows how to visually tell the story that your video's telling. And that's not a skill I have. I can edit a vlog to do that, but I cannot create an image to do that. And so I think that it would definitely highlight what you're doing if you had somebody that understood your vision, understood your videos, and could make that something more visual than what you're able to do. So I would have hired a thumbnail person years ago because I know that you can afford it. Grym, any response to that?
I would say it's once you start making content and the graphics work, it takes up a time away from that. If you're doing enough content to where you want to, have that time to create it, that's when you want to hire a thumbnail or a graphic designer, so that you can focus on recording the videos and shooting stuff, or writing scripts and stuff like that.
Well, and in my personal opinion, I mean, if Joseph, I don't think you should be editing, creating graphics. You should be doing none of that stuff. If you're doing all that stuff on your own, you need to get off your plate so that you can just focus on 100% on content. That's all you need to be doing, getting content and sending everything else to somebody else, letting them edit it, them thumb it, let them schedule it, upload it, all that stuff. You're in a position that you can do that. And that's what I would do, because the more efficient you get at creating content, you're not going to get burned out as much. And you're also going to become a content making machine, because that's where 100% of your focus is. If you're 50% focused on your content, 50% focused on the thumbs and scheduling and all that other stuff, you're limiting your audience of that other 50% that you have that you could give to them. And so I would say give them 100% of you and let somebody else take the stuff that's taking you away from them. Agreed. Anthony, question: do you think the AI subject is high-paying ad space like finance? I wouldn't worry about what it pays, Anthony. Like, if you try to pursue stuff based on what it pays, you're going to be spinning your wheels. You just put your head down. And this is what has happened for me. This is what has happened for other people. They just put their head down. They don't care about the money. You can't care about the money doing this because it is a long, just hard road to get to where you're making money. I blogged for 5 years before I made a dime. 5 years. And like getting very little comments every once in a while. Somebody would find my article on search. 5 years before I made a dime. You have to be willing to give it that kind of commitment in order to get to where you need to be. So don't think about when you're looking for content, is it going to pay well? Now, sure, you can look at like, how does it do in search? But I would argue right now, AI is going to be doing great in search. People are looking for AI left and right. So what is your unique proposition that you bring to AI? That is you. You bring yourself to, you're the unique proposition. So start covering it the way you want to cover it. Start showing things to people that maybe other people aren't covering, but you can't think about the money at all. Anything to add there, Grim?
Yeah, I'm still not at a point of monetization anyway, so.
Yeah.
It's because I don't create enough content.
You don't create videos, yeah.
Yeah.
While I'm only here to make connections with people, everybody has a story, and I like to hear them. Exactly. Boss, I'm not in it for the money. I have a story that is being told, just waiting for people to catch on. Yep. Definitely takes too much time for me and not producing anything. Get great design ways. Yeah. And again, you are in a good position, Joseph, to be able to do that. So just find some good people and
I think one of the things that, especially on Joseph's point, is when you're creating content on the subject, as a content creator, that does not mean you're a person that is a video editor, a graphic designer. A content creator is somebody who has information they want to be able to provide, education they want to provide. So, like in Joseph's case, he does hypnotherapy and motivational stuff. He's not a graphic design person,
right?
And the more time he would have to spend on doing his own thumbnails and stuff like that, it takes away from that from the original content that he's trying to do. So yeah, I agree with this. Like, as soon as you feel like you could afford to hire somebody to do thumbnails for you, do it, because that takes something off your plate. We already
know he can afford it.
Well, yes, we're talking about in general, people starting out. Now, you're going to be starting out when you're just starting out. You're not going to be making a lot of money. So CANVA, like David already pointed out, CANVA is a great place to be able to create thumbnails. But when you get your brand going, you definitely want to offload those jobs to somebody else
as soon as possible.
As soon as you can.
Yeah. Because like this, the more you free yourself up, the more you can focus. Like, because where the burnout comes from YouTube, the burnout comes from trying to do everything. And if you can get to where you're not having to do everything, the burnout won't be like, you'll still get burned out from creating content for sure, but it'll happen a lot slower, and it's a lot easier to get past if you're not having to do everything. Because then once you get burned out on content, you're like, okay, I need to take a break. You take a break. It's going to be harder for you to go back to it if you're like, oh my God, I got to go create more thumbnails. I got to upload. I got to do like all the stuff you got to do is going to keep you from jumping back in, where it's just like, well, I already have a team. I just got to jump back in and start creating content. And if you have a team, it also can help keep you accountable, because they're going to be like, hey, why aren't you creating content? We're like waiting to edit. Like, oh yeah, okay, I'll get it. And all you got to do is content. So, in your journey, as you make money, that's the thing. Like, don't take that money and say, oh, I'm going to start just blowing this on all this stuff. hire people to take things off your hands that you don't like doing or aren't as good at as somebody else would be. Yeah?
Yep.
So Boss says when he wins the lottery, he's going to, first of all, I'm building his studio for a quarter of it. And it sounds like you're going to get another quarter.
Okay.
So that's half of his earnings gone already to do the branding. So we're going to, both of us, get half of his earnings when he hits the lottery. So as a viewer, I've never clicked out of a video because of the graphics. Bad sound? Yes. Confusing or no point to the content? Yes, exactly. And damn it, the having no dislike button, because sometimes that also was an indicator for me.
There was the old adage back in my web design days. Basically, it's like, content is king. You could have a really nice looking website, but if you didn't have any content worth, reading about or something to provide the viewer or the audience, nobody's going to come back. So, that's why David is pounding, just create the content, focus on creating that content and making good content.
Yeah. And focus on solving problems.
Yes.
You have to initially focus on solving problems because you're not going to grow with live streams that are just live streams. You're not.
Right.
You have to have some kind of focus. Now, can you grow with live streams? Hell yeah. Look at Redacted, but it's topical. We're highly searched titles and very intriguing titles that get people to click on it to watch. And so the more people that stay there and watch those streams, YouTube pushes out. So you can indeed build something by live streaming. But again, you have to be purposeful with your content initially and really focus on solving problems. And so if you're able to solve a problem, and that's another thing that I'm going to be focusing on this channel. I'm not going to be coming in and saying, hey, David Foster here and blah, 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 and all this other stuff. I am going to start getting right to the point. If I'm showing you how to use a capture card, I'm getting right into showing a capture card. I'm going to let, if I want people to like or something, it's going to be done with a graphic. I'm not even saying it until the end of the video. At the end of the video, I'm going to have a really short close and then I'm out. And the reason I'm thinking that is because I want these videos to live on Twitter, on YouTube, and Amazon. And I'm not going to be doing YouTube calls to actions on every video to do that. If people like your content, they will sub. And again, I am going to have a closing that I will do at the end of the video after I've given them what they've came for. I'm going to solve their problem before I ask them for something. They're asking me for help. I'm giving them their help, and then I'm asking for something in exchange for that help is how I'm going to do this. And that ending is not going to be on the Amazon version. It's not going to be on the Twitter version. It's only going to be on the YouTube version. So I'm going to be making the same content, but native to the platform it's going to be on. And could that be 3 different outros? Yes. Is that 3 different videos that Grim's going to have to edit? Yes, but that's not that bad because he's just going to have to cut. Yeah. Cut and paste.
And that's the thing. If you get a good editor and a good graphic designer, they're going to have systems in place that once you cut your content or your video, they can just drop it in a Google Drive or wherever, download it and stick it in the template, and most of the work is already done.
Yep, exactly. So that's going to be my discipline. That's going to be something that I'm going to have to think about now and be very, like I used to be when I would shoot my videos about stuff. I was very purposeful with where I put the camera, with how I set things up. And I got to get back to that. I got so far away from that in this journey just because, like I said, I had done it before. I had done it all before. I didn't want to do it again because I felt like I had already done the things to get to, like, I was here, I did all these things, and I took a brand to here. And it's like that realization that you have to go back down here to get up here again is a hard pill to swallow when you gave a lot of your life, to that. 6 years of my life was dedicated to doing that. And then to just have to come back 6 years, that's a hard pill to swallow. But, I have to swallow it. It's going to hurt, but I'm swallowing it. And hopefully it dissolves and I don't have to poop it out because that hurt even worse.
And it's not a huge horse pill.
Yeah, it's not hopefully it's not a huge horse pill. Hopefully it's like 3 Advil, Yeah.
So hopefully.
Yeah. I don't even want to make money, Raul says. That's good. I started streaming 2 weeks ago, or like a week ago, and I already got 2 followers. Awesome. Younger people have shorter attention spans than old broads like me. Yeah, they really do. And that's why I don't like the short form content that they're pushing on us, because it's like the short attention span theater. You know, we're getting people that don't want to sit through a 7-minute video. Like, oh, 7 minutes? That's too long. I don't got that kind of time. I don't want those people as my audience. Please try not to have typos or misspellings in your titles or description boxes. Not a deal breaker, but a pet peeve. Yeah.
Grammarly is your friend, folks. Just saying.
Yeah. Grammarly makes me seem smart. Smarter than I am. So, all right. Anything to close with, Grim, before we get the hell out of here?
Just everybody listen to David. He knows what he's talking about. And
you pointed the wrong way. I'm over here.
That dude over there. And just if you need graphics advice, go over to the Creator Toolkit.
Yeah, we have no calls to action here. Oh, actually, I do have one. I have this. Follow me on Twitter. And
there you go.
Are you at GrymSkull?
Yes, at GrymSkull. Everywhere.
Follow Grim on YouTube, on Twitter, at GrymSkull. And let me add, hold on, I'll add a lower third for that. Follow Grim at GrymSkull. Add. Boom. And he's that everywhere. He's at GrymSkull everywhere. So if you really, really want to get some good content, go to onlyfans.com/GrymSkull.
Yeah. I've got a whole course of, never mind,
mushroom tips.
Yeah.
So, how do I get, there we go. And, I do have one. Join the Creator Toolkit free. CreatorToolkit.com. So, all right, you guys, thank you so much for joining us. You guys sound good together. Why, thanks. Thanks.
It's all David.
No, it's not. It's the sum of the whole. Love you guys, but not enough to go on Twitter.
Oh, well, yeah.
You would love Twitter, Barbara. It's a cesspool right now of love and free speech. So, no, Grim does not do feet pics.
No.
Thank God.
Nope.
The guy doesn't wear socks, so his feet are black on the bottom. Like if he showed his feet, he would get trouble for black feet.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
You would. You would. All right, you guys. Thanks so much for joining us.
Appreciate it.
Maybe we'll do this again sometime. What do you think?
I'm up for it. I'll try to have more words.
Yeah. Well, words are overrated.
Okay.
Peace and love, marijuana community. Peace, you guys. We'll see ya. I don't have an outro, so we're just gonna fade to black. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1.